while modern Christmas drowns in commercial excess, expensive gifts, and elaborate decorations costing thousands. Bound in 1970s, Amish families celebrate with traditions unchanged for centuries. No Santa Claus, no Christmas trees, no debt-inducing shopping. Just 10 practices that capture what the holiday meant before marketing transformed it completely. Religious focus. For Amish families, Christmas represents exclusively the celebration of Christ's birth, with no secular traditions diluting or competing with this central religious meaning. The day begins and ends with acknowledgement that this holiday exists for one purpose: remembering and honoring the Incarnation. Church services on Christmas morning last several hours, with sermons delivered in German focusing on the nativity story from Luke's Gospel. The theological significance of God becoming human receives detailed examination that children and adults alike consider carefully throughout the service. At home, families gather for extended scripture reading, with fathers leading their households through the Christmas narrative and explaining its meaning to children of all ages. The religious instruction doesn't get simplified or sugar-coated, but presented as serious theology that even young minds can begin understanding. German hymns about Christ's birth fill homes during evening hours, with multiple generations singing together in four-part harmony that requires no instrumental accompaniment. The song's lyrics focus entirely on theological themes without mentioning snow, reindeer, or any element disconnected from the religious significance. Modern Christmas mixes sacred and secular so thoroughly that many children know more about Santa than Jesus. Amish children never experience this confusion. No Santa Claus. Perhaps nothing distinguishes Amish Christmas more dramatically than the complete absence of Santa Claus mythology that dominates mainstream celebrations. Amish parents view the Santa tradition as fundamentally dishonest, teaching children to believe elaborate falsehoods that parents later must admit were intentional deceptions. Amish children never write letters to Santa, visit mall Santas, or leave cookies for a fictional character. They know from their earliest memories that gifts come from parents, grandparents, and other real people who love them. This honesty eliminates the eventual disillusionment that modern children experience when discovering the Santa deception. The reasoning follows theological principles about truth-telling. If parents lie about Santa, children wonder what else might be false, including religious teachings about God, Jesus, and biblical stories. The Amish refuse to compromise their credibility by mixing fantasy with faith. No elf on the shelf monitors behavior. No threats that Santa won't come if children misbehave. No elaborate explanations about how Santa delivers presents worldwide in one night. These complications simply don't exist in Amish homes where Christmas remains focused on actual events rather than manufactured magic. Modern culture considers Santa essential to childhood wonder. The Amish prove that children experience joy and magic without requiring parents to construct elaborate deceptions that undermine trust. Simple gifts. Gift giving in Amish families follows radically different principles than modern Christmas shopping that drives families into debt purchasing expensive items children want rather than need. Each child typically receives one practical gift valued between $10 and $30. The gift serves genuine purpose: warm clothing for winter, tools for learning a trade, books for education, or equipment for helping with household work. Toys exist but emphasize educational or skill-building value rather than entertainment alone. Handmade gifts receive highest regard. A father might craft a wooden toy, a mother might sew a new dress, grandparents might knit warm socks or mittens. The time investment demonstrates love more powerfully than purchased items ever could. Small amounts of candy and treats accompany the main gift, providing special indulgence without encouraging sugar addiction or expectations of constant sweets. A handful of hard candies, some homemade fudge, or a small bag of nuts represents abundance in communities where daily treats don't appear. The total gift expenditure for a family with 6 children might reach $150 to $200, compared to the $800 to $1,500 typical American families spend per child. Yet Amish children express genuine gratitude rather than disappointment, having never been taught that love equals expensive purchases. No gift lists get compiled, no catalog browsing happens, no mall trips occur. The simplicity eliminates stress while teaching children that gifts represent thoughtfulness rather than obligation to fulfill wish lists. No Christmas trees. Walking past Amish homes during Christmas reveals no decorated trees visible through windows, no elaborate light displays adorning houses, and no inflatable decorations populating yards. The visual landscape appears unchanged from any other winter day. The Amish view Christmas trees as pagan traditions with no biblical basis or Christian significance. The practice of decorating evergreen trees originated in pre-Christian Germanic traditions and later got adopted by Christian cultures. But this historical connection doesn't justify the tradition in Amish theology that emphasizes biblical practices only. Some communities permit minimal decorations like evergreen boughs arranged on mantels or simple wreaths on doors, but elaborate decorating remains absent. No hours spent untangling lights, no arguments about tree placement or decoration schemes. No post-holiday cleanup of pine needles and ornament storage. The money saved proves substantial. American families spend $200 to $500 annually on Christmas decorations, trees, lights, and outdoor displays. The Amish redirect this money toward charitable giving or simply avoid the expense entirely. Modern culture equates Christmas spirit with visual displays, judging celebration adequacy by decoration elaborateness. The Amish reject this completely, understanding that spiritual meaning requires no physical manifestation through temporary decorations that serve no purpose beyond social conformity and neighborhood competition. Family gatherings. Christmas brings entire extended families together in multi-generational gatherings that include grandparents, parents, children, aunts, uncles, and cousins, creating households of 30 to 50 people celebrating simultaneously under one roof. The gatherings begin early Christmas morning and continue throughout the day, with various family members arriving and departing in waves as they visit multiple households. Everyone makes effort to see extended family, with young families traveling to grandparents' homes to honor elders who no longer travel easily. The interactions cross all age barriers. Elderly grandparents share stories with teenagers. Young children play under supervision of older cousins. Middle-aged adults coordinate meals while catching up on family news. No one retreats to separate rooms by age group or generation. Everyone remains together in shared spaces. Conversation fills the day. Stories about deceased relatives get retold, preserving family history. Current events get discussed. Future plans receive family input. The talking never seems forced or artificial, but flows naturally from genuine interest in each other's lives. Modern Christmas often fragments families into nuclear units, opening presents alone before brief obligatory visits to relatives' homes. The Amish pattern creates opposite experience. The entire day revolves around extended family time, with gift-giving representing small portion of much larger celebration focused on relationships. The contrast reveals how thoroughly modern culture has atomized families into isolated units that gather briefly out of obligation rather than spending entire days together because they genuinely enjoy each other's company. Modest feasting. The Christmas meal represents a special occasion worthy of effort and quality, but Amish families avoid the excessive feasting that characterizes modern celebrations, where tables overflow with far more food than anyone could reasonably consume. Traditional foods appear: roasted turkey or ham, mashed potatoes, bread stuffing, multiple vegetable dishes, homemade rolls, and several pies for dessert. Everything gets prepared from scratch in home kitchens by women working together, their cooperation strengthening relationships while creating the meal. The food quality exceeds typical daily meals, but quantities stay reasonable rather than excessive. Families cook enough to feed everyone adequately with modest leftovers rather than preparing amounts that guarantee substantial waste. The goal involves providing a good meal, not impressing others through abundance. Children help with preparation according to their abilities and ages. Young girls set tables, older daughters assist with cooking, boys haul water and wood for the stove. The meal creation project rather than a burden falling solely on mothers. The cost remains modest, typically $50 to $100, feeding 20 to 30 people. Commercial ingredients get purchased in bulk. Most vegetables come from families' preserved summer garden harvests. Meat comes from animals raised on family farms. The investment stays reasonable rather than becoming a financial burden. Cleanup happens communally immediately after eating. Dishes get washed, dried, and put away by coordinated effort, taking 20 minutes rather than overwhelming one person with hours of work. Modern Christmas feasts often cost $300 to $400 and generate substantial food waste that eventually gets discarded. The Amish approach provides abundance without excess or waste. Second Christmas. While mainstream culture treats December 26th as a return to normal day marked by aggressive after-Christmas sales, the Amish celebrate Second Christmas, extending the holiday meaningfully into another full day of rest, fellowship, and celebration. Second Christmas follows less formal structure than December 25th. The religious observance remains, but with shorter home services rather than full church gatherings. The day emphasizes visiting friends and more distant relatives that first-day family obligations prevented seeing. Young people particularly value Second Christmas as social opportunity. Unmarried adults attend gatherings where courting couples spend time together under community observation. These events function somewhat like parties, but with modest food, no alcohol, and activities centered on conversation and group games rather than entertainment consumption. The extended celebration acknowledges that one day proves insufficient for properly observing such significant religious holiday. Modern culture rushes through Christmas in single day before immediately returning to work and regular schedules. The Amish approach allows genuine rest and relationship building impossible when celebrations get compressed into frantic 24-hour periods. Work resumes December 27th without complaint. The two-day break provides adequate rest and celebration, making return to labor feel natural rather than jarring. No post-holiday depression occurs because the celebration received proper time and attention rather than getting rushed through an exhausting single-day marathon. The Second Christmas tradition demonstrates Amish commitment to prioritizing relationships and rest over economic productivity that drives modern culture's immediate return to consumption and work. Handmade. Everything gift preparation for Amish families begins months before Christmas, as parents, grandparents, and children create handmade items requiring significant time investment that demonstrates love more powerfully than purchased gifts ever could. Mothers sew dresses, shirts, and quilts during evening hours throughout fall. Fathers build wooden toys, furniture, or tools in their workshops during slower agricultural seasons. Grandmothers knit socks, mittens, and scarves while visiting or during quiet moments. Every gift represents hours of focused labor. Children make gifts for parents and siblings too. Young girls sew handkerchiefs or simple potholders. Boys craft small wooden items under father's supervision. Even elementary-aged children contribute handmade cards or drawings that parents treasure. The personal nature of handmade gifts creates emotional connections that purchased items cannot replicate. A dress sewn specifically for one daughter, accounting for her size, preferences, and needs, communicates love differently than clothing bought from racks of identical mass-produced options. No gift cards appear. No Amazon purchases arrive. No last-minute shopping occurs. The complete absence of commercial gift-giving eliminates the stress, expense, and environmental waste that characterize modern Christmas shopping. Modern convenience culture views handmaking as impractical time waste when purchasing saves effort. The Amish recognize that effort itself constitutes the gift, with the physical items serving merely as tangible evidence of time someone invested thinking about and working for the recipient. Carol. Singing. Evening hours on Christmas Day fill with hymn singing that includes every family member regardless of age or musical ability, creating participatory entertainment that requires no equipment, costs nothing, and strengthens family bonds through shared activity. The hymns come from centuries-old German tradition, passed through generations orally without hymnals or written music. Everyone knows the songs from childhood, having heard parents and grandparents sing them every Christmas throughout their lives. Four-part harmony develops naturally as men sing bass and tenor, while women provide alto and soprano. Even young children join in, their voices blending with adults in musical tradition that modern a cappella groups spend years trying to replicate, but that Amish families produce effortlessly. No secular Christmas songs appear, no Rudolph, Frosty, or Jingle Bells. Only hymns focusing on Christ's birth, theological significance of incarnation, and worship appropriate to religious celebration. The lyrics teach doctrine while creating beautiful music. The singing continues for hours without seeming tedious because everyone participates actively rather than consuming entertainment passively. No one stares at screens or listens to recordings. Everyone contributes to the music creation. Modern families play recorded Christmas music passively, with family members often wearing headphones and consuming different audio individually. The Amish create music together, an activity that builds unity and